It says something about our civilization when a 6-foot-tall biological male with the muscle density of a man and the lungs of a man is celebrated for crushing teenage girls in a swim meet. And those girls are told to shut up and smile.
As somebody who was a competitive female athlete, I am so happy to tell you this.
The University of Pennsylvania doing the walk of shame, crawling out of the woodwork to admit that it was wrong in the way it handled female sports 3 years ago with transgender swimmer Lia Thomas.
The Department of Education announcing that University of Pennsylvania has agreed to resolve Title IX violations. That deal includes defining male and female by biological sex, reinstating strip titles and records to female athletes, and get this, issue personal apologies to every impacted swimmer.
Oh, wow. First off, thanks so much for joining me today in this very important story. As you know, I am a biological female. Or if you don't know, surprise, but I am. And when I was a young person, I competed in track and field at a pretty high level ranking. And I'll tell you what, and that was in the late 70s, 80s. None of this would have flown ever. So I have been so frustrated for these young women and girls for such a long time that this has happened, that finally some sensibility is coming back to people. None of this is transphobic. None of this is hateful towards trans people. In fact, it was hateful towards women and young girls. And this should have never happened. And I really did know in my gut that eventually people would wake up, but it took such a long time, and so many people, so many young women and so many young girls got hurt by this. It was never fair. It was a ridiculous thing that happened. And so with that, thanks for liking, subscribing to the channel, and helping me really bring these important, in my opinion, stories to the table as a transsexual who believes in biology and believes in telling the truth and coexisting in the world. So with that, I want to continue this here.
Former University of Pennsylvania swimmer Paula Scanlon. She joins us now. Paula, great to see you. Your reaction to this from the University of Pennsylvania, have you heard from them?
I have not quite yet heard from them. I received actually just before coming on here an email from the athletic department. It seemed to be a generic email to all student athletes, just addressing the situation and describing the fact that they weren't in the wrong back then, but they understand that they are now. That is no form of apology to me whatsoever. I think another one should be still coming, but really, I mean, what I've seen from this is they're trying to just say, well, we were following the rules then and we're trying to follow the rules now. Don't be mad at us.
No, that's not. First off, if you don't know, she is awesome, and she did some really great podcasts about the fact that these women were forced in a locker room with Lia Thomas, where Lia Thomas was getting naked, and Lia Thomas still has male anatomy down there, and it was so incredibly disgusting that they would force women to be in a locker room with a biological male. Look, I don't care. Nobody cares, people. If you want to become a woman, you go right ahead. But you better respect women's space when you do that. You can't do this. So you're actually all throwing trans rights, whatever that is, back a million years when people just didn't care. What happened was transsexual people knew our spaces. We walked the world that way. We never wanted to cause problems. But these women are being, finally being heard after years of abuse, losing medals, losing space, being called all kinds of names, TERF, cis, transphobic, including me. So it just makes me so happy to see this stuff happening. Now I want to bring you up one of my new favorite people, and what his reaction is, Thomas Sowell. And what his reaction is to this. It's such a great video. I'm going to link all these videos because you should listen to the whole thing, but listen to this.
It says something about our civilization when a 6-foot-tall biological male with the muscle density of a man and the lungs of a man is celebrated for crushing teenage girls in a swim meet. And those girls are told to shut up and smile. That is not progress. That is surrender. Surrender to ideology, surrender to cowardice, surrender to a world where truth must bow before delusion.
Wow.
Let's start with the case of Lia Thomas.
Yeah.
Born male, swam for the men's team at the University of Pennsylvania, where he ranked 462nd in the nation. Then, with a gender identity change and a year of hormone suppression, Lia joined the women's team and became a champion. Suddenly, the same athlete went from obscurity to breaking records in women's swimming, standing tall on the podium while biological women stood second and third, disheartened, humiliated, and silenced. This isn't hypothetical. It happened in March of 2022. One young woman who competed against Thomas Riley Gaines later testified that she was forced to share a locker room with a fully intact biological male. When she spoke out, she was harassed, called a bigot, and even physically assaulted at a campus event.
It literally happened to her. No, she's not the only one. There was a lot of women who were saying that. And the fact that, this happened, this whole video is so great. I want to show you other videos. I wish I could play the whole video because he just says everything specifically. We were gaslit. This was not okay. It should have never happened. This is not feminism. Did feminism cause this? I mean, his talking points, I aspire to be this man. He's just so, to me, genius in the way he speaks and his thought process.
Her only crime, speaking the truth. A truth that used to be obvious. Men should not be competing against women. Now, let me be very clear. The issue is not about how people live their private lives. I don't care what pronouns people prefer at dinner parties. But when you redefine truth,
there you go,
impose it on others, and penalize those who dissent, you are no longer advocating for inclusion.
I love it.
You are enforcing submission.
No longer advocate. Oh my God. I mean, really, inclusion. You're advocating for submission. We've all been, I use dominance. It's not inclusion, it's dominance. It's just so mind blowing that we all got pushed. Many of us did not submit to this. We were pushed into it on some level because you were getting canceled, you were getting fired, you were getting so many crazy things were happening to people who would not go along with this complete delusion.
How did we get here? The answer lies in decades of moral confusion packaged as compassion.
Wow. Just wow. That's how we got here. He actually, and it goes on and on. I'm full on linking this one for you all to watch. Okay, so I wanted to bring this one up next here.
The university will be sending a personal apology to every female athlete who was forced to compete against a man.
Wow. Lia Thomas will be stripped of all her swimming titles by the University of Upenn. Okay? Tuesday, it was announced that Upenn will strip Thomas and apologize to all biological competitors who lost to Thomas. Really? It's so gross, you guys. Upenn's decision to cave to the Trump administration follows an investigation by... let me tell you why this is happening. In my opinion, want to know why this is happening? Funding. It always is about the money. Trump was like, no, sorry, bitches. You're disgusting and gross. We're just going to take all the millions and millions of dollars the taxpayers of this country give to you. That put the brakes on it. The minute you talk about money, people's whole mindset. So, hey, wait a minute. What happened to all you people who believe trans women are women? Okay, now the whole university put the brakes on it because you're not going to get the check anymore. So you never did believe it. You never believed it. It was all about the money. So you just totally threw women under the bus. We can never forget this, everybody. We can never, ever forget that this happened. I'm telling you, if we ever forget this happened, they will do it again, and they will do it in another sneaky way. It is so important that this never, ever goes away. And we always use this in the fight for women's, children, and young girls' rights. Okay, because if we forget, it'll come back in another creepy way. It didn't happen overnight. It happened in a very creepy queer theory, all of the stuff they're teaching in academics. No wonder more people are homeschooling their children. So this next one I have.
We turn now to another major university reaching a deal with the Trump administration, this time concerning transgender athletes.
This morning, the University of Pennsylvania reversing course, saying it will now ban transgender athletes and strip trans swimmer Lia Thomas of her swimming titles. The school reaching a deal with the Trump administration, saying it will comply with Title IX, as interpreted by the Department of Education, and saying it will restore the records and titles of female athletes who lost to Thomas and send apology letters to them.
Lia Thomas pulling away.
Lia Thomas made history in 2022, becoming the first openly transgender athlete to win an NCAA Division I title.
So I heard that, and the reason I'm playing this one is because I want to show you, I was showing you both sides of the media. I don't want people to think I'm just being biased. So this is like, I think, NBC or MSNBC, and the other one was Fox. But that being said, so did you know that Lia is being stripped of their title from Upenn? But what I have heard in my research, the NCAA is not. So this is something we all have to pay attention to. It's just the university at this point, but not the NCAA. So we're going to have to really pay attention to this, and all medals should be stripped, and every woman that lost out should be put back into those spaces. So again, I'm going to tell you, also the first openly transgender athlete to win. So is that going to stay in place? I just feel like the whole thing should be squashed and put over here, because it never was a good situation for anybody.
The win sparked fierce debate over fairness, including from some of Thomas's own teammates.
I knew there would be scrutiny against me if I competed as a woman. I was prepared for that.
Competed as a woman. Listen to Lia's language.
The Trump administration earlier this year suspended $175 million in federal funds from Penn, claiming the University of Pennsylvania repeatedly violated civil rights laws by allowing men to compete in women's sports. Education Secretary Linda McMahon calling Penn's new agreement a major victory for women and girls nationwide. No comment yet from the NCAA or Lia Thomas, but in a 2022 interview, she defended her decision to compete.
Trans people don't transition for athletics. We just want to be able to live our lives.
Then just live your life. Then you're right. You don't transition to compete. You just said it and you admitted it. Then why are you going in and destroying women's sports? BS, okay? You wanted to do that to cause problems. We don't transition to compete. Then okay, great, give it up. Move forward, go run in some race around the lake, and you're good. But why you have to go in and totally destroy women's sports?
The NCAA still recognizes her championship win, but Penn has removed her swimming records from its website.
There you go. There you go. That's it. He just said it, that the NCAA still recognizes it. But I told you it was about the money. It's literally about the money. The minute the $175 million was going to be stripped, oh, never mind. We changed our mind. Lia is actually a biological male. Okay, so I want to bring this one up.
The World Boxing Organization just announced it will mandate genetic sex testing of all competitors. The group says it's part of a new policy to determine the eligibility of male and female athletes and designed to ensure, quote, the safety of all participants and deliver a competitive level playing field. World Boxing also sent a letter to the Algerian Boxing Federation stating that Olympic gold medalist Iman Khalif must undergo a genetic sex screening if she wants to compete in the female category at an event next month in the Netherlands or any other competition that it sanctions. The uproar over transgender athletes.
You know, that one pisses me off so much because we all look. Maybe Iman was raised as a girl and that's fair. You know, whatever happened in that space and the religion, I hear all kinds of levels of stuff. That's fair. You know, okay, Iman, you're raised as, because I heard that they have a disorder of sexual development, blah, 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 blah. But their actual chromosomes are male chromosome. And they have been tested many times over that they have male chromosome. And all of you people grifting this and pushing back, and no, this is a fact, okay? I don't care about your feelings. It's a fact. and just knock the crap out of all the girls in the Olympics. It's so disgusting. Do you know how hard it is to make to the Olympic level? A male or female, that is so much years and years and years of work, okay? And then this dude just gets plucked into the women's sports and knocks you out. Like, what? Come on, man. So now you're getting busted, and then let's see what happens with that. I wanted to bring that because it's all falling. And already they stated here in Los Angeles for the Olympics that it will be a biological base, not a passport, not an identification, not your identity choice, but it's going to be literally your biological space is going to be tested, and that's how you get to compete in male and women's sports. It's come to that, people. Literally come to that. So I wanted to bring this next story up because it really coincides with all of this.
It's competing in girls' youth sports is clouding the weekend state track and field championships in California. Protesters there are expected to rally against A.B. Hernandez, a transgender high school student who will compete after winning the girls' long jump and triple jump. Her advance to the championship meet and the public backlash that it's prompted has led state high school sports officials to change the rules. They will now allow additional athletes to qualify for the state meet if they'd been bumped out of a spot by a transgender girl.
Okay, bam, you're just admitting it. That is actual admission that girls and boys are different, men and women are different. By letting the transgender girl, A.B. Hernandez, a male, compete in the women's, but now you're going to fix it so that if A.B. Hernandez wins, they are going to also understand that this person has an advantage. They're admitting it a roundabout way. They're admitting it. I know I'm getting all excited because it's sports, and I just value women. It did so much for me as a young person, and so I value that sports space for young people. And so now this person is going to win. They all know that A.B. Hernandez is going to win, the trans girl. She's going to win. And then now they're going to, so we'll just make a little bit of a different ruling here that if that happens, then we're going to help others. So it's just an admission. It's 100% an admission that biology matters.
The controversy even led President Donald Trump to threaten to withhold federal funding from California for
money,
allowing her to compete. Let's take you now live to Clovis, California, where the meet is set to take place with CNN's Julia Vargas. So, Julia, what can we expect from today's competition?
Well, Boris, it's going to be an interesting award ceremony if AB places in any of the 3 events that she's qualified to compete in. Not only will those extra slots be added for the cisgender students that don't make it, they will also have extra medals, basically duplicate medals for the student that would have placed had she...
Why didn't they just do this from the beginning? If this is how we're going to do it, why didn't we just do that from the beginning? So now there's going to be a transgender winner and a woman winner. Like, okay, I'm good. I'm totally good with that. But how come they didn't do this from the beginning?
Not been there. The Federation will also give the medal, they say, to a biological female student athlete who would have earned the specific placement on the podium. They will also be awarded a medal for that place. Now, California has allowed transgender student athletes in the high school level to participate in the gender that they identify with since 2013. But now the Justice Department is taking a look.
Since 2013, I actually didn't know that. But they're in that statement before, they admit biological female. It's starting to happen. They're starting to put this language in there where they before would call it cisgender. Right now, they're literally saying biological female. This is a win for us, people. A win.
Investigating that law to see if it is a violation of Title IX, the federal law that bans sex-based discrimination for schools that receive any
Well, if you're using the word biological, then it is. It's totally discrimination.
Kind of federal funding. Governor Gavin Newsom said that these changes that the Federation has made, they are already a reasonable compromise, even though we...
Mr. Newsom was all about the trans rights, trans in prison, trans in... Now, reeling it back real quick here, because I live in California, as you all know. Everyone hates him here. He's disgusting, but he knows. Now, it's all politics. Don't think these people care about trans people or girls. It's all politics, okay? These people don't care. They'll roll that stuff back so quick. The minute money is slapped on the table, okay, or taken away, everyone's changing their mind. Who were all pro-trans, they're all going, well, actually, no.
You know that in March, he did say that the participation of trans girls in sports is raising an issue of fairness, and that concern.
I just can't. Okay, so with that, I wanted to segue into the from the Upenn story into girls, because girls will become women, and a lot of them who are high competitors in high school will move into competitive collegiate sports. So this is why it matters. So now AB Hernandez, right? So that story, they're competing at CIF, which is the California like the big state championships I competed in. My dad would have lost his mind if there were dudes in our race. My dad would never stand for that. And so parents were already protesting. Are you insane? I want to bring you this.
And now to California and the debate over trans athletes in girls' sports. A rule change allowing one trans athlete to take home several medals.
This morning, new fallout over a California track meet after state officials defied President Trump's executive order banning trans athletes from competing in girls' sports.
That is a biological male.
16-year-old AB Hernandez was all smiles, posing with the other winners at California State Track and Field Championship over the weekend. The teen taking silver in long jump and tying for gold in the high jump and triple jump. But in the stands,
I'm here to save my daughter's future.
Protesters outraged that AB, assigned male at birth, was allowed to compete.
I don't think it was fair. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't allow my daughter to compete against the person.
AB's participation came amid a push from lawmakers to ban trans students from the competition.
The girls competing, they are not okay with this. They know it's unfair, and they do not want to compete against a boy. And the truth was, he was not born in the wrong body.
Last week, President Trump threatened to withhold federal funds from California unless AB was barred from competing. But instead of banning AB, the California Interscholastic Federation, which oversees school sporting events, opted to change the rules, expanding the number of athletes per event and handing out an extra medal in any event where AB won. Governor Gavin Newsom supported the rule change.
Of course.
As for the other winners,
It has nothing to do with me.
Some say the politics surrounding the event was a bigger distraction than AB's participation.
That she doesn't deserve any of the hate. And as an adult, you shouldn't be hating on a 16-year-old.
The Justice Department is investigating whether AB's win violates sex discrimination laws. And now to California.
I think it was actually super cool of the girls to be saying stuff like that. Like, can we just do our sports and you shouldn't be hating on I totally get that. And I think it's really horrible to be putting a young person into a space like that. I also am not hating on AB Hernandez. I'm hating on the system, and I'm hating on this idea that we can, sorry, I need to keep saying this over and over to you trans people. When you make the choice to transition, you do not get everything you want. And that's why it's very important that we understand this. And when you push a young person into transition at 16 and 15, you are putting your own adult stuff onto them. Okay, this person, maybe they need, I don't know the story behind this person. I don't know how long they've been going to therapy, what they've been doing, but maybe they shouldn't be told that they get to now be in these spaces, and that no, you're a transsexual and you're going to have to deal with not being able to do this unless we make a trans league. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this.
Iowa has become the first state in the country to remove gender identity from its civil rights code. The law, signed back in February, took effect Tuesday, July 1st. The move means transgender and non-binary people in the state are no longer legally protected from discrimination when it comes to housing.
So let me just say something. I just wanted you to say that the reason, because they keep putting transgender and non-binary together, number one, biggest mistake ever. Number two, when you do stuff like the sports stuff and you are completely disingenuous about what it means to be trans, this is what happens. Okay, I've been living this way for a long time. Got all my IDs changed, walked the world as a man, all of it. No one cares because I respect space and I respected all of the situation. It's my choice to transition, not yours, not anybody. I'm not going to put my choice on you. Okay, so this is the fault of the trans activists. And now all you trans activists out there are going to have to deal with the fall of your disingenuous lies and grift. And this is the fallout right there. So with that, I personally am very happy to see this stuff happening for the win of women and girls' rights. Transgender people need to get their stuff together and figure out what they're going to do next and understand the world does not revolve around transgender rights. The world revolves around reality, authenticity, and coexistence. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, commenting. Love the comments. So awesome. And really, thank you for helping me get this channel moving and getting these stories out to the world. Appreciate you a lot. Have a great rest of your day.